right. We're trying. So this is love. This is love. This is love. This is love.
Catholic Church. Jesus hates
Wait.
Jesus hates you.
You don't hate me. I'm preaching the word of God.
No, Jesus hates you.
No, I'm preaching the word of God.
His child.
I'm preaching God's word.
Do you see this? Do you see this?
That doesn't matter. I'm preaching the word of God.
No, Jesus
Okay, so back to my point. If you're a child, you can't just assault someone like that and get away with it, ma'am. Get on your way. I forgive you, but don't do it again, or else you're going to go straight to jail.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you are tuning in. My name is Jonathan Torres Herrera, and you are watching or listening to the JTH Show. Today, let's talk about the Daily Wire cancels Woody from Toy Story, and Trump supporter loses it. Yeah, but first, roll the intro. All right. As always, general reminder, you can catch this episode and every other episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Radio Public. Please go out there and download any other shows on any of those platforms. It really helps the show. Okay, so let's get right into it. So the Daily Wire, a very conservative website, published an article, right? Now, it immediately came up on one of the sources that I use for news that I cover, or that I use to cover stuff. And, it read, Toy of Genocide? Disney under pressure to remove Woody from Toy Story for crimes against Native Americans. All right. Now, if you don't catch it right away, you're just kind of like, what is this? You're joking, right? And then it makes you want to go in there and read the whole thing, right? And of course, it's a pretty long article, and it even shows you a couple tweets. One of them, which is reads, Joanne Davis, a 33-year-old woman from Ithaca, New York, tweeted, flipping channels and this murdering piece of expletive plastic comes on, literally in tears RN, which is right now. How do I explain this to my daughter? Right, and then there's like this little tweet of Woody on the TV, and then it's at Disney, right? It continues on to saying other people supported the tweet. It looks like over 120K gave it a like on Twitter. And then there was another capture from another Twitter user, Danielle, who said, the only way I can see Disney making this right is if they replace Woody with Chief Powhatan from their 1995 movie Pocahontas. Right? And again, got a whole bunch of likes and stuff like that. Now, allegedly, there's all these tweets from Tom Hanks himself saying things like, after much reflection, I realized that the character Woody is offensive, harmful, and insensitive. I made a terrible mistake in doing the character's voice. It is something I will regret forever. Right? And again, the article goes on and on and on. Right? Like, a couple things to immediately, right off the bat, right now, say is that the whole thing is satire. Right? As you're reading through it, the Daily Wire decided to put a quick, small note at the bottom saying, disclaimer, everything that you just read is entirely false, as in not real, as in satire. So why do I even cover this, right? Why am I even covering it, period? Well, that's the thing, right? In what they would consider their defense, they're saying, this is something that we're doing to show how ridiculous it is when anything else gets canceled, right? And the other side, right, and mainly the other side of my brain says, then why even, right, write a story, which is a pretty lengthy story. I mean, this has to be at least 300 characters or so. Have one of your writers write it. I mean, is there not enough news? But whatever. Have one of your writers write it just to get some tweets, some likes, some, people getting upset, just some reactions, right? Again, on one side, you have people saying, dude, this is hilarious, right? There's a lot of people backing it up, especially those loyal followers of the website, saying, this is so funny. This is exactly how ridiculous it is when we see other things getting canceled, right? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. When I first read the article, I was surprised, but not surprised. Before I got to the part that I said it was satire, I was like, I mean, okay. And I immediately jumped at the opportunity of saying, "Oh my God, let's collect some good information." I immediately went to Tom Hanks' Twitter account, and I'm like, I couldn't find anything, any of those alleged responses. So, after a while, you start doing your research, and you're like, what? Why can I not find anything they're referencing? And of course, then I get mad at myself because I didn't finish reading the whole article, in which they put it's entirely a goof, right? The whole thing. They even put on there, laugh at someone that, that basically reacted before they read the whole thing. Which again, it's one side of my brain saying, oh, okay, I get their little like, aha, neener, gotcha. And then the other side of my brain is like, man, really? You're going to, right now, especially how everything is, you're going to go out and, yeah, it's not even April Fool's, as our producer says. It's not even April Fool's. So why right now? But anyways, I still decided to do the cover it, right? Not because I wasted an hour of my morning doing research, but more than anything to go ahead and pass this along to you, right? For you to also, if anything, learn from my stupid mistake. As much as I say that I cover this and I look at facts, instead of reading the whole damn article, which was the end, I immediately jumped to let's research what Tom Hanks has been getting. Is he getting a backlash? What is Disney saying? Which we do a lot with the writers at San Diego Tijuana Times. When all right, well, the ifs, the whats, the who else is involved, all that stuff. And it would have saved me definitely not more than an hour of research if I would have read the whole thing, right? Which it goes back to the lesson that I tell you guys all the time about. Make sure you get your facts. I was trying to get facts, but I didn't read the whole article. It was really a headline read, and I maybe read half of it, right? Until I started getting to the more alleged reaction from the Tom Hanks. I'm like, damn, this got big. What did I miss over the weekend? Because here's the thing. I try not to be so active on social media over the weekend, other than the occasional post that I do, which my producer, aka my wife, hates that I do, because then I let you guys into a glimpse of my life. Other than that, I really don't try to interact a lot on social media. In fact, I try not to interact with anybody, right? That's outside of, these walls with my family, because I'm trying to disconnect from having to sit in this chair, usually sometimes Monday through Friday, 12 hours. So when I read the story, I'm like, oh my God, what bomb went off on Saturday or whenever this was posted, right? So anyways, guys, it's just a little haha for some of you. Hopefully for the other, half of you, you're not going to cancel me for spreading fake cancel news. However that works out, whatever. But the next story that I have for you guys is actually very much real. It very much goes hand in hand with the clip that you guys saw there at the beginning. So let's move right into that. And for that story, we turn over to a website, dailydot.com. Yeah. So they publish an article saying Trump supporter pulls gun on teen after allegedly being splashed with water. No. So the article, goes on, to explain in detail how, hey, look at this guy. He got triggered over some water. Yada, yada. But then when I continued doing my research, this time for reals, for something that's real, I came across the video, right? The video of this man who, is caught on camera whipping out a pistol. So why don't we go to that video now?
Hey, gun. He's pulling. What's your name? I'm calling the police. What's your last name? What's your name?
My name is Daniel Burris.
Daniel Burris, okay. What's your name? Because I got it on video that you pulled a gun on girls. I have it on video. It's fucking water, you snowflake. It's water, you snowflake. It's fucking water.
Okay, so as you see in that clip there is a lady, that is recording. And right off the bat, let me point out something that I'm still trying to understand, what besides trying to cancel people, or allegedly identify, what is up with the whole, what's your name? What's your last name? Instead of stop recording or tell someone else, someone call 911, right? Which is normally what any sane person does. They start screaming, somebody call 911. I'm sure you're recording still, but you're saying, somebody call 911, somebody, instead of, what's your name? What's your name? Your last name? DOB, please? SSN. Some of the stuff that sometimes now people start screaming, especially, in moments where, there's panic, they're very frantic. It's things to, in my opinion, cancel other people, right? It's like long-term poisoning of the water, right? Instead of really worrying about what's happening in front of them, really worrying and taking care of, making sure everybody's out of danger. Her, as you heard yourself, her number one concern is, what's your name? Right? Why? Because eventually either she A, knows this is really not going to go anywhere. I mean, but we're going to cancel him. We're going to cancel him. Now, one thing that I want you to make sure that you understand is, yes, allegedly he was splashed with water. He's saying, or witnesses at least were saying, that he was yelling that he didn't know if it was maybe acid. Okay, which to some, it'll be a valid point, right? Because of everything that you have heard that's happening out in these protests, right? Peaceful or not, right? Whatever you have been hearing, anybody here watching this video right now, if you were to tell me, right, that you blindly trust anybody out there in these protests, there is something wrong with you, right? If you don't go out to these protests, if for whatever reason, right, by the way, you're out there, because anybody's saying right now would be like, well, why would I go out there, JT? Correct. But hypothetically, you come across them. If you tell me that you feel comfortable to get out of your vehicle and participate and be around all these other individuals, you're out of your mind, right? For all you know, everybody has guns and acid in their pocket. So from one side, yes, I will say, sure, maybe this guy is just that, nervous over the whole situation. Now, of course, why the hell is he there in the first place? I also agree with, right? Okay, so let's move on. So you see what happened in that clip that I showed you at the beginning, right? Where you have an individual, which, by the way, real quick background on that little video. It's a person who is well known to go out to gay events and events that he thinks that the Bible and Jesus doesn't agree with, and protest against those. I don't agree with the individual. I went through his YouTube channel. There's some of the stuff that he puts out that, to me, it doesn't make any sense. I don't again, agree with any of that. But at the same time, I do not agree with anybody. Like you saw that fine gentleman there yelling whatever animal sound he was trying to yell and just throw his drink right on the individual. And if you watch the full clip, which you can find by YouTubing it or Googling it, and you'll come across it, he plans the whole thing. You see I didn't want to include it in the video because it was so damn long, but you can see him from whoever's filming in the background, coming along very quietly, continuously looking at the protester, right, that's there with his sign. So you can tell he's spotting it. Right now, what happens? He gets to throw that out. He has a little hop he does, and then he just walks away. And then on top of that, you still have someone else that's like, that I know whatever happened to you just happened to you, but I'm gonna go ahead and also hit you with the cane or whatever she was holding. And the guy, as you saw his reaction there, is like, don't do that again. He says it on video, you just assaulted me. Don't do it again or you're going to end up in jail.
You can't just assault someone like that and get away with it, ma'am.
Who else would have done that? I want you to really ask yourself that, Now you can say, well, he knows he was on camera. Okay, it doesn't matter. How many people know they're on camera and they still whip out their gun, right? Because here's the thing, and I've said this in other videos. You don't know, right? Especially right now with the feeling of everything that's happening out in the world, whether you're here in the U.S. or anywhere, really. You don't know how someone else is going to react to just you splashing water on them. You thinking that's that innocent, throwing what appeared to be at the beginning of that clip a milkshake, or hitting them with a cane. You don't know. Now, one thing that is, it's beyond me how, and I'm sorry here for the language, but how stupid some people are, is for them to have this, not even expectation, demand. That's what it is. Demand that if you spill something on someone, spit, water, a milkshake, the other person should not have any type of reaction. In fact, they should all react like that, I call him Bible thumper. He was like, hey, that was not nice. That was his reaction. That's not a common reaction, right? And nobody should sit there and demand that is the reaction of someone that after they are being either threatened or assaulted, that they should react all peacefully, calmly, and turn the other cheek. Well, that is something that I would hope people do, right? I've said it before, walk away. You can't expect that. You can't demand that. And that is what's happening right now with many individuals because they are easily triggered. We had the other Trump protester, right? Who hit, he punched. That's what he did. He assaulted. He punched the other guy with the song. I bashed him equally, right? For those of you guys that sometimes DM me saying, "Oh wow, you're a conservative apologist," I'm not. All right, I'm telling you, fair and square. Neither side, okay, has any right to expect, demand for anybody to tolerate their BS. Throwing water, speeding, throwing a milkshake, and then cry. "Oh my God, someone's pulling out a gun on me." What do you expect? What has this world come to where your brain, something in your brain, right, tells you, I'm just going to throw it at you. Either one. Or, right, or for the other side, because, allegedly this person who's, threw water was for Biden, so you can say it's on the left, or someone on the right saying, "I don't like you saying F Donald Trump, I'm going to go and I'm going to hit you." What's wrong with you? Like, who are your parents? Who raised you? Right? What kind of morals and principles do you have as an individual to think that any of that is okay? Like, you have to really consider what is processing through people, that are doing that, like in their fucking brain. What moves them every morning? Right? This is no longer an issue of left or right, in my opinion, by the way, which is how I'll close out this video. This is no longer an issue of whether you're a Trump supporter or a Trump, a never Trumper, this is a worldwide problem, because I've seen many videos coming out of, England, out of France, out of Canada, out of Mexico, where you have individuals on one side or the other who decides to do, again, throw things, whether it usually is liquids, right? Put music really, 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 really loudly annoying. But then the other side, which, again, the individual receiving, right, said, insult, decides, all right, my hand's on you now. Or like in this case with this person, I'm going to whip out a gun. And that should be the message that you guys take with you, right? Is that, one, nobody needs to put up with your shit. Number one thing that your parents should have told you. Nobody told you that. I'm telling you that. Nobody. And I want, if there's any young viewers that are watching me now, I want you to really pay attention. All right. Even if you get upset right now, nobody needs to put up with your shit. Nobody. So if you don't want to put up with someone else's shit, be an adult, walk away, because that's what adults do. Mature, I should say. Mature. Right? Because immature children pull out guns. Immature children throw their freaking milkshakes at other people. Right? And expect to have no repercussion. And on this case, by the way, with this individual, allegedly, according to the same article, they go on to say that, police haven't made any arrests, right? They have not identified the individual either. I mean, things could change between now that I'm recording and, whenever this continues, right, to be investigated. The video does have millions of views already. So I suspect that very soon there's probably going to be some update out there. It's probably going to end up in some kind of 9 o'clock news saying we caught the person or something along those lines, which good. Because like I said earlier, right, as much as I don't agree at all with anybody throwing, water at someone, I don't agree with whipping out a gun. One of the first things they teach you when you own a gun, right? And I own guns, I've said it before, is if you're going to take it out, you're not going to take it out to intimidate someone. You're not supposed to take it out to show it off. For any of my responsible gun owners, why do you take out a gun? Because you're going to use it. Because your intention is to defend your life. And the way you defend your life is by pulling the trigger. It is extremely serious, right? But again, it goes back to my first argument. Nobody needs to put up with your shit. Expect for this to happen, right? Expect for someone to possibly pull a gun on you in your face. And then what? You can't say, well, it wasn't water, because I saw a lot of, replies on Twitter. Here, let me see if I can come across one real quick. Somewhere towards the bottom. Yeah, there it is. Right? In fact, the same person that posted this is saying, he was claiming to the police, right? That he thought it could have been acid, like I said. And then he cried self-defense. He didn't cry self-defense. Again, nobody needs to pull up with your shit. You cannot say it was just water. Because it's a very fine line between someone else saying, I just showed you my gun. I just showed you my gun. And you say, oh, JT, water and gun, really? Same? To you. To you. Right? To him, it was acid. Because you don't know what is happening in that guy's head. You look around, right? If you're happen to be in public right now, watching this, or you go out in public, no, I'm serious. I know some people are going to be like, oh, great, thanks, man. I'm going to think about that all the time. No, you should. Right? You go out and you look at people. You don't know what's happening in their home. You don't know what background they come from. You don't know if they are maybe ex-military, they have PTSD. You don't know. But you have an idea that, oh, they just said whatever, reacted to something that you didn't like. And your first intuition was to go over there and throw water at them. Because they offended you, because you got mad, because that's how your mommy and daddy told you how to react. And by the way, I have a strong opinion that people that react like this is because they didn't have a good upbringing. I'm sorry. You can say, well, do you think there's cases of people that are just horrible human trash, but their parents are great people? Sure. I guess there's some cases, but the majority of the time it's because those were children. And trust me, I think right now, some of you guys will realize what I'm saying, and probably will hopefully nod with me. Some of them were from parents, okay, ready? That you probably saw in the store. Hopefully it's nobody in your family. That they were throw a tantrum on the floor, and then you will look at the mom and be like, are you going to do anything about that? And they're like, it's okay. He needs to get it out. And then the kid will probably sometimes get up, throw things, or even hit the mom or the dad. And it's like, he's tired. Stop. Ow, he's tired. You don't believe me? There's tons of kids like that. So what happens with those kids? They grow up like that kid at the beginning, right? And gets a milkshake, plans it, and says, just throws it on someone. It's like, whatever freaking noise he was making. That's probably what he did to his mom, to his dad. And mommy and daddy is like, he's tired. He's tired. This milkshake, he's tired. He's tired. Right? And that's it. That's what happened. That was the extent of the punishment, that go to bed. Right? So, again, it's very, unfortunate that things like this are happening. But it's some of those things that, for those of you guys watching, I really want you to start paying attention to the fact that your actions have consequences. And now more than ever, in my opinion. Right? More than ever. Because now you're on camera. Right? And it's either going to be you being assaulted or you doing the assault. Right? If you do not get a grip of your actions, if you do not realize before you act to think. My very first video that I did, if you didn't see it, it was over a tragic, horrible case. I'll put the link up here. That to this day, when I think about it, it still breaks my heart. Over the parent, the father, right? AKA piece of shit, who killed his entire family. Right? Who didn't think, and then thought of more. And then visualize. And then talk to probably somebody. If you have thoughts like that, sometimes you need to talk to somebody. If you have thoughts of hurting other people, thoughts of you thinking you can do and say whatever you want, you need to talk to someone. You need help. Because you can't. You're sharing the entire world with the rest of humankind. You're not the only one. Not you, not I. Nobody in this world is the most important person. I don't care what the U.S. tells you about the president of the United States. He's just another guy. And we have a woman in their office, it'll be just another woman. I don't care what they tell you. I don't care what you have told yourself. Simple as that. All right, that is it for today. Thank you for watching as always. And until next time, see ya. Hey, thanks for watching the JTH show. Remember, you can catch all the episodes, full episodes, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Radio Public. You can also visit www.thejthshow.com to catch episodes there and to catch anything that we had to blur out because of YouTube or any other platform. We usually put all of our raw information in there that is uncensored. You can also become a member at www.thejthshow.com to catch all the special perks. Thanks for watching.